Hello, good morning. This is Jeff again, and welcome back to my channel. Have you tried to apply in a BPO company or BPO industry? If not yet, watch this. All right, so let's talk about BPO industry. BPO industry in the Philippines has been quite a while. I'm not sure when it actually started, but it's more than 20 years, I guess, or 20 to 30 years. So, yeah, it's been a long time actually. All right, so what we're going to talk about is how to apply in a BPO company or industry. So, let's discuss more about it, okay? All right, so just to let you know, or think you already know, some of you, there's a lot of BPO companies in the Philippines, and most of these BPO companies are actually from United States. There's a lot. So to name a few, there is Teleperformance, Convergys, which is now Concentrix, and there's Cytel, what, um, Sykes, and yeah, I almost forgot Alorica. So there's a lot. All right. So how to start to apply in a BPO company? Actually, there's a lot of ways. Even on Facebook, there's already groups, BPO companies. Um, you can just simply search on Facebook and try to search for a keyword like call center or call center job. I would suggest near your area. All right. So the reason why I suggested to look for a BPO company near your location or near your area is because simply because of the distance. You don't want to like travel every day, like for 2 or 3 hours just to get to your work or to the office, and that's very tiring. Trust me. All right. So we're going to discuss more about what to look for a company. Well, aside from the location, of course, which will be more convenient for you. Well, one thing that you have to look for is the well, the name of the company, and other thing is, of course, the bottom line is the salary or the compensation. All right. So for the beginner, the most of the offers are ranging from like I think I saw 12,000, 12 to 20 actually. All right. So when I actually started in a BPO company, actually didn't start in a BPO company. I was a telemarketer. I was a telemarketer for BD Metro Bank, and then was transferred to Citibank. All right, so I actually started my career in, let's say BPO, although it's local. By the way, local BPO experience is not really considered as a BPO experience when it comes to international. I actually started in yeah, local account. It's a food delivery. I will not, of course, say what's the name of the account, but it's one of the biggest food industry in the Philippines. All right, so my tips for those who's aspiring to be part of a BPO company, look, you can start with local account if you want, but if you can pass the international campaign or international account, then that will be much better. All right, so how to start applying? So first you have to choose your company. As I mentioned, look for the location, the nearest location, if possible. Next is the salary. So you have to actually make sure that you compute how much are you going to spend every day, month, and not just every day, actually, should be weekly, monthly, and you have to, of course, deduct that to how much are you be getting. Because if your salary is, I mean, if your expense is actually higher than you'll be getting, then it's not worth it. All right, so let's talk about the account. So if you're looking for a local account, because most of the applicant actually looking for local account. Well, that's good. I mean, that's fine, but I would suggest for those beginners that if you really can, you can apply in a international account. All right, so just to let you know, what you will be able to learn in a local account is actually how to handle a customer, but the customer will be, of course, here in the Philippines. So it's local. You'll be talking to Filipino, and um, when it comes to customer service, that's something that we can improve. All right. So before you start applying in any BPO company, it may be a local account or a national account or company. So the basic things that you need to know first is, of course, you have to at least know how to speak English, because even a local account, they will ask you in English. So you have to have a good sentence construction. You have to review those things that you have learned from school. So at least you should be able to explain yourself. Um, all right, so yeah, communication skills is one of the, let's say, foundation when it comes to BPO company or even local account. So you should be able to learn how to speak properly. So it may be in Filipino or in English. So you should not stutter. Um, that's actually all right. So before we move forward, let's talk about BPO. What is the real meaning of BPO? When we say BPO, it's a business processing outsourcing. So companies in the US are actually outsourcing their business here in the Philippines, and we're the one who's actually taking care of those customers. So that's why our client is mostly in America. So when we say BPO, it's really for an international account. But here in the Philippines, we have BPO, like local BPO, because when you say business processing, outsourcing, so they are actually outsourcing their customer service representative to a different company, although local. All right, so the basic things that you need in order for you to successfully be able to be part of a BPO company is actually one is communication skills. So you should not be afraid to speak out or express your own opinion, or you should be able to answer whatever questions they they will ask you. And second thing is you have to have at least basic knowledge when it comes to computer navigation, those things. Typing skills, that's also important because when you start taking calls, of course, at first there will be some what you call SME who are just going to help you out. During training, of course, you have to discuss about the product that you have to actually. All right, so the basic things that you need in order for you to successfully be able to be part of a BPO company is actually one is communication skills. So you should not be afraid to speak out or express your own opinion, or you should be able to answer whatever questions they they will ask you. And second thing is you have to have at least basic knowledge when it comes to computer navigation, those things. Typing skills, that's also important because when you start taking calls, of course, at first there will be some what you call SME who is going to help you out. All right, so in order for you to actually make sure that you land a job in a BPO company, the first thing is communication. Again, communication is very important. So if you choose to apply in a local call center, just want to let you know again, it will not be in Tagalog. It will be in English. So the question will be in English. So you still have to speak English. So um, you have to keep listening to, you have to actually surround yourself with English materials in order for you to adopt on how Americans are actually using the language. So since we are Filipino, English is a second language. It's not our mother tongue. But of course, since we are so exposed to English materials, reading books, movies, radios, those things. So we can use those things to be able to improve our communication skills. So there's actually a lot of training that you can do. First is listening to radio conversation. What I did before is I usually listen to radio conversation. A Filipino was speaking in English, so I try to mimic or I try to adopt how they speak, and just keep listening to it because the more you listen, the more you'll be able to mimic or the more that you'll be able to adopt. So let's say since Americans are of course they speak English. Of course, they were born in United States, so they're exposed to English. What do you call this? Language. So if they were born here, like an American who was born in the Philippines, and um, the first word that the that American he or she was able to hear is a Filipino word, then he will be good in Filipino. But since your surroundings, your environment, you're exposed to those language, so you're able to keep hearing it, and eventually you will able to learn how to speak it. So again, since we're Filipino, we're not used to speak in English because it's just our second language. Of course, we are using Filipino still, and sometimes English, but most of our most of our Filipinos are actually shy to speak in English because um, because of the basher. Actually, the word basher is just a new term I know. But before, why we don't want to speak English and why we only do that during like English subject, because you don't want others to say something about how we speak, and they don't want them to laugh at us. And yeah, so but we have to practice that if you're really interested to pursue your career in the BPO industry, you have to surround yourself with English materials. So again, listening is very important. You have to keep listening to English materials. Watching movies are very important as well, especially with those subtitle. Because you're already listening and you are reading, so you are getting some new words every day. If you're watching every day, um, so that will enhance your vocabulary words as well. So when it comes to enunciation, pronunciation, there's something that you have to take seriously because here in the Philippines we don't enunciate the right word. We don't really use like we don't speak like Americans. So we have our own way of speaking. So that's something that we need to learn. That's why you have to keep listening to Americans. So when you're able to actually adopt how they speak, you don't have to like do some what do you call this um, highfalutin word. You don't have to do that because Americans, your customers will only be using basic English. Mostly what we call here are, yeah, it's a like business English, something like that. So it's just basic English. So you just have to make sure that you do know how to do, you do know how to construct a good sentence. And in order for you to answer whatever the question is, of course, you have to be exposed to those words and keep practicing. So you have to practice how you speak, you have to practice how you listen. It's very important. And keep reading. Watching movies again is very important. I do love watching movies a lot. So yeah. So yeah. So that's it. Good luck for those aspiring newcomers or BPO applicant. So hopefully we'll see you on the floor. All right. So once you're able to submit your resume or whatever to the company you're applying to, make sure that you're ready for the interview. So interview right now during this pandemic can be over the phone. There are some companies who's actually entertaining walk-ins, but it's very limited. So make sure that you're not in a dead area or there's no signal. Um, Make sure that your phone is not on silent mode because there are some companies who will try to call you like a few times. If they cannot reach you, then goodbye. Your application is rejected. So just be careful. Make sure that you're always ready. Don't put that phone on silent mode. All right, and just be confident during the interview because from the time you start speaking, they will keep listening, and what they are actually trying to measure is your communication skills, how you respond to questions, how you answer, and how you do positive scripting. So you don't say any negative words during interview. Anything about if you have a previous work, don't say about a bad thing or negative thing about your management or the previous management. Just do positive scripting. So it can be growth, salary, well, location. So it really depends. All right, so I think that's it for me for today. So hopefully you were able to learn something new here. If you like this video, just want to let you know that I will be creating more videos about call center since I've been a call center for almost 10 years now. So hopefully I will be able to help you out. So if you're interested again to learn more about PPO, just click the subscribe button down below and see you there.